Hello and welcome back to the Learning Network. I hope you are so well today, and I would love to share with you 5 ways that you can have a better school year next year. Because look, I know at this time of year, at the time of recording, teachers are feeling the pinch, and I hear from our community, our members inside the CAFS Collective, as well as the Health and Movement Science membership, and you tell me that you're just done, that you don't know how you're going to get through the next few weeks. So it is my absolute core mission at the Learning Network to absolutely support you, your precious time, your energy, and your well-being. Because I never want you to feel like I did back in July 2020 when everything just kind of came crumbling down. I was doing a lot at school. I was helping us through COVID. Our school was a little bit backwards. Our professional learning and resources in the online space was very limited. Some of our older teachers couldn't even really formulate an email, let alone create Google Classrooms, have that all set up, have their resources online. So I helped our school become online. But prior to that, I came into the school as a brand newbie to the system, and I was employed to get our school with professional learning in our PE faculty up and running and sorted, and programs and assessment tasks all compliant. So I kind of was the relieving head teacher Wellbeing, relieving head teacher PE. I got shingles in my first year at the school, if you haven't heard my story before. And then things kind of came to a head in July 2020, and I went on leave and I kind of left. So everything I literally have done since that point, I think I resigned on the 12th of July, has been to protect you as a busy teacher, because I never, ever want you to feel like I did. My core mission here at the Learning Network and in everything that we do to support you is to protect you, to protect your time, your energy, and your well-being. So I'm going to share with you 5 things that you can do next year and leading into next year to protect yourself. So look, it is my mission to protect you. With any of our resources, courses, memberships, our events, it is literally to support you as a teacher through saving you so much time. I think, look, time is one of those things. If you're a CAFS teacher, you would know that we don't get back. We don't get to get that time again. So I think it's really important that, that resource of time that, it can't be taken back. I think that's probably the biggest thing. And look, our energy is really important as well, because no one wants to feel burnt out. No one wants to go into Christmas feeling like they are absolutely struggling, and that joy that gets left, I think, is pretty sad. Anyway, I don't want this to be all doom and gloom, but look, I think the way we're different is the way that we work with you. We don't want you to feel like you're just a bum on a seat and you don't get seen and heard. The resources, the courses, the memberships that we have developed over the last 3.5 years has been a direct result as what we've asked you guys that you want. And that will continue. Like, we want to hear what you need and want, and where the gaps are is what we can fill. So resources and support, done for you packages have been really exciting this year. So these are 5 ways that you might look in next year that things could look a bit differently. So obviously having a coach or a mentor that you can work with. So having someone at your school that you can lean on, that you can ask questions of, or that you can potentially have someone as, a bit of an ear to the ground. I know when I worked at Nagle College at Blacktown, some of you have heard this before, but I had a beautiful mentor in the form of Karen Tillman. And look, she was my coordinator, my PE coordinator for 14 years. And I think the best part about Karen was her ability to trust her team, to trust her faculty. And I think a lot of that trust does get lost for some reason in the system, in the schools. But she trusted us 100%, and she would back us all the way. So I think that's very rare for a head teacher, a coordinator to do that, to have the complete trust in their team, because I think, we are professionals. We come out of university, yes, having no idea. That was me, the syllabus and a textbook, and that was about it. But to have the trust of a professional is really important. And I think for some of you, You've told me stories that your head teacher or your PE coordinator or your TAS coordinator doesn't support you. So I never want you to feel like that. So surrounding yourself with like-minded teachers here at the Learning Network is definitely why we're different. So having a coach and a mentor to support you is a really great way to be set up for success. And obviously working that really collaborative space is really important, because I think it's not a competition, and I say this all the time with our members. We really believe here at the Learning Network that there are three main missions, I suppose, within what we do. So the first one is to have that connection to you as a busy PE or CAFS teacher, no matter where you are on your journey, to support you with that connection. The next one is collaboration. So being able to work together. You could have a really closed door approach to the way you teach and have no one kind of to work with you or to bounce ideas around with, but it's really important for you to actually work with other colleagues. And I think that idea around collaboration has been so big for me, because at multiple times throughout my career, I didn't have that. I didn't have someone to bounce ideas around with, or if I did, it was probably in a really toxic way. I know certainly when at the back end of my career, just before I left the classroom, I wanted to build that collaboration in our faculty. I tried to do it in numerous ways, but there were still some very toxic members who would throw me under the bus. They would throw other team members under the bus. And I think that that's not conducive to collaboration and connection. And the last one is around community. I always want you to feel supported. I always want you to feel like you are welcome in our community, and then you can come to us with any questions that you do have without being judged, without questioning why you're asking that, or to kind of just say, look, I have no idea. I need a hand. I need some help. I'm struggling. I'm drowning. So there really are three core missions to protect you. So around that connection, that collaboration, and that community is what we try to build here at the Learning Network. So if you're looking for a coach, a mentor, someone to support you, obviously you can work with us, work with me one-on-one in our CAFS coaching and mentoring. HMS, I know some of you have been reaching out about that because you want someone to support you in what you're doing. And look, if you're looking for someone to give you a bit of a bird's eye view of your faculty, of your PE faculty, and you're like, Kell, I just want things to run a bit differently here. What do you suggest in terms of assessment or scope and sequencing or formative assessment? We kind of want to go down that path. We're sick of our kids just kind of not really knowing how can you support us. So obviously that is one way that you can get support, through a mentor, through a guide, through someone showing you the way. The next one is to be part of a community that is like you. And obviously inside the Learning Network, we have a whole heap of ways that you can do that. But outside of professional learning, obviously finding your tribe, finding your group of teachers who are like you, that you can bounce ideas around with. You can share assessment tasks, scope and sequences, again, bounce those ideas around with each other. And I think I love the quote by Robert John Mean, sorry, mind blank, he talks about the importance of being limited by our own perspectives, that, each other, we are our greatest asset, our greatest resource as a teacher is each other. You can be in your little box and stay there, or you can actually get support that you need and want based on where you are on your journey. I think that's what I love within what I've been able to do inside the Learning Network is tailor our professional learning, our resources, our courses, our events to what you need, because there's no point in going to professional learning that isn't hitting the mark or that you're being made to go to because your principal, your head teacher wants you to go there. So inside the Learning Network, you have a couple of different ways to do that, to have that connection and that community. The first one is through our CAFS Collective membership. We have a mighty team of 95 teachers across New South Wales. It would be awesome to have that bump up to 100, hopefully by the end of this year. But that is my favourite way to support a CAFS teacher. We also have a brand new Health and Movement Science membership that is there to support you. And I know that there is lots of other professional learning done out there, but the way I want our HMS membership to work is that you can actually create stuff together, rather than just kind of go to professional learning and then you have to go home and do a lot of the work yourself, go back to your faculty. You'll actually get the support from me as, your mentor, as a leader, but then also through all the resources that we actually support you with. And we also have our formative assessment hub, which is going to continue next year. And we're going to be looking at different ways that we might run that. But if you want to have access to a steady flow of resources, hands-on activities that you can literally implement in the classroom the next day, that is also available for you. But if you're looking for support, if you're looking for community, then we are very different, because we want that connection, we want that building. Okay, the next way is through being in front of other people. So actually going to places, networking with teachers that are like you. Obviously, we have lots of conferences and meetings, online professional learning, webinars that we can attend, free or paid. And I think we are very lucky in the space that we do have at the moment, with the ongoing technology that is available to us, to be part of that. I know when I first started running professional learning for CAFS teachers, I would have to travel all across New South Wales, Tamworth, Newcastle, Goulburn. Where else did I go? Wollongong a few times. But if you weren't connected to that, or if you weren't part of that community of schools, or if you weren't located there, then you kind of missed out. Whereas inside the Learning Network, my part of the way we do things is being online. And I think we are so blessed to have this technology at our disposal. So going to meetings, going to conferences, going to events where you actually see each other face to face. Now, many of you probably know that I absolutely love online. I love the technology. I love the community that is built in an online space, but it is so different in person. And I've been able to witness that firsthand with our CAFS conference, 2 years in a row. Still magic, like where it is at Kilcare, at the surf club, overlooking the water and the beach, being surrounded by the national park. I know this year, 2023, we had dolphins literally playing in the waves as the conference kicked off. Our welcome to country, it was definitely very, very special. So next year, we are running the CAFS conference again in October, the very first week of term 4 in October. And then we have our Health and Movement Summit in March. So I think March 1st and 2nd. If you'd love to check those out, the learnnet.com/conference for the CAFS conference, and the learnnet.com/summit for the Health and Movement Science Summit. So that's going to be pretty exciting next year, to have both PE, like Health and Movement Science, teachers at the beginning of the year, and then CAFS teachers at the end of the year, beginning of term 4, to actually come together to be part of those events. Now, the biggest thing that I think many of us need and want is just something that's going to save us a whole heap of time. And this year we've seen that you as a teacher want things done for you or made life simple. And obviously through our packages and our online courses and all of our suite of teaching and learning packages that has been very popular this year. I think we've probably had over maybe 400 teachers take up one of those, whether it be EEC, PASS, Child Studies, or SLR, or any of our CAFS packages. Like I said, I want to be able to save your time, because I know what it was like. I know what it was like as a busy teacher, as a busy coordinator. I was, in the mid-2000s, I was a pastoral coordinator at a Catholic school for 4 years. And I would come home and I would spend a lot of my evenings getting at the laptop, writing resources, creating things for my students. And I think, if I can do that for you, if we here at the Learning Network can do that for you, then things will look very different next year. You'll be able to go back to what you love most, and that's teaching. For many of us, being able to have that spark, that enjoyment back into our classroom. And the last one is resources. Obviously, I love teaching and learning activities. I love having that spark in my classroom, just different ways to experiment. And I think in my life, probably over the last, 30 odd years, 40 years, I think that's my biggest area of creativity, is having really fun activities, really engaging activities, even if it's wrapped up as fun, but it's really resourceful and practical, applying the knowledge and understanding and skills for the kids, has been a great tool, a great strategy for my classroom. So having things that are a bit different, or if I hear a really great teaching and learning strategy from a colleague or from, a CAFS teacher at HSC marking, then I would then add it to my program and go, okay, I'm going to try that out. I'm going to actually experiment with that. Or if I was teaching something, at professional learning, I would tweak it and change it and then use it in my own classroom, or potentially experiment with teachers and go, okay, well, I'm thinking about this activity. Do you think it's going to hit the mark for the kids? So having resources at your disposal is a great way to set you up for success for a new year. And I think sometimes we can't become a bit tired of our programs, a bit tired of our, our tried and tested resources and activities that we kind of do. I think having things that are a bit different might be able to be a great way to actually just get a bit of time back, just to go, okay, well, I don't have the energy to create a new resource, then I want something that I can use from my colleagues, shared across our faculty. And I think part of the issue for me was I had some very competitive colleagues in our faculty who didn't share resources or who were very, very closed door and didn't want to share what they had done. So I think when any of my professional learning has always been about a teacher being able to just make life a bit easier. So having resources, having activities that are a little bit different that you can actually get the kids to apply is a really great way to actually work a bit differently in the new year. So for us, we have a whole heap of resources that are currently available. Many of you have taken our CAFS resources, and we're going to build out our new resources for HMS into next year. So you'll have all of year 11 available throughout the year. We also have our child studies booklets available. EEC will almost be finished at the end of this year. PASS, SLR, literally most of our courses, apart from KD10, we're going to tackle that one little step at a time. But look, just having that variety of different resources is always a great way to kind of just have some different things happening in our classroom. So there are 5 ways to look a bit different in the new year. And I think we need to be thinking about someone having a mentor that is going to support us, being part of a group of a community of teachers that are like you, actually going to face-to-face events, meeting people in person. Networking is really important. Number 4 was having done for you resources and packages, just experimenting with your teaching and learning activities. And number 5 is having access to resources that you can experiment with in your classroom. So I'd love to hear from you. What is your year going to look like next year? And how can we actually help fill those gaps that you might be feeling at the moment? But as you round out the year, I hope that you are getting to have a little bit of breathing space. I know many of you as senior teachers, you might be doing some marking in the next couple of weeks, but I hope that you do get to finish that before we go on our break. But if you have any feedback about what we can do to support you further in our new year, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.